when you're looking at this and how it's worked out for some of these teams is just because you had one win and one good game, it is just not enough. It is not going to be. It's like you see some of these teams who maybe are constantly going out before placement points. They even get the win, and it's just like it's not really changed their points massively enough to be a big dent into getting them closer to top 8.
Also, the thing is, and we talk about this not that often, but we always end up talking about it when we come to the end of a tournament about, no, there's only 2 games left. They got to do this to win. They got to do that to win. If you're a wise team, you say, we can be winning all the games today. That's going to be good fun. But if we end up going 16th place in all the games tomorrow, all of a sudden those wins don't count for as much anymore, right? Because all the other teams will keep on getting the points they're getting. So you got to just continuously, you cannot just fall off of the horse and say, we got all the wins now, it's good, let's just, and then, all of a sudden. I mean, you cannot just sit in the top there, satisfied. You got to keep on wanting more, and that's exactly what Zoekt Een Naam do. Never stop, never rest, easy, because it ain't going to be coming easy too. So they've done everything they've got to do to get these wins, and they're back up there once more. Now, one thing I see is Besiktas. They're, I want to say all over the place, but that's kind of because they are. I think they're trying to steal vehicles from 3 different teams at the same time. Now, Tommel is down in ruins. Now, I know the plane wasn't exactly perfect for Besiktas to play around, but Ultra by himself, Tommel by himself, Lux and Simsy have 1 vehicle to share. And, okay, so Ultra got 1 now as well, but he's under fire and starting to take hits now too. Circle down to where we were before, the game before that as well. So everybody knows how and where to rotate on this one.
And look at the circle we've got. It's just consistently being the same kind of direction this time around. But could we get military base? And if we do, this
that's
time,
a bigger chance now.
It's slightly improved for the military base. And it's the time Northern Lights have decided to go there. So
maybe they're the
odds.
We did have that one game on day 2, I believe it was, where it just kept bouncing back and forward.
Oh, yeah.
It started to go somewhat like we see this one, and the next one went military, 3rd one goes away, 4th one goes back to military again, and it was just yet again one of those complete chaos matches where nobody ever rested easy, and I believe Avangar ended up getting a pretty decent position in that, but in the end, it was Northern Lights team who would end up getting themselves the win there. So we'll see if this will repeat, or if we're going back into the safe haven of Forshak Field where everything else has been going down. Tommel! He got down Mumino early in that previous game. This time around, Mumino says, ha, revenge is mine.
Is he going to go in for the fist?
Go for the pen.
Punch him up?
Go for the pen. Drive him over with his own car. Or just shoot him. I like it, though. Mumino, he got taken out by one of the Besiktas players in the game 1 of the day, I believe it was, when he started, when he kind of settled for Gatka. They didn't want to drive all the way north. This time around, it was the other way, and Mumino gets to play this one through. Actually, it's kind of a thing for Mumino, because also we talked about Bjorn, how he's been going down early. Every time we've seen K23 alive in the late game, Mumino's kind of been the one that wasn't there with them. So if it lost a player early, tends to be him, and he's a very talented player. So good that he stays alive here.
Now, Powerful, the only team in George Bowl at all here. So they're going to be very happy. They've got a lot more space to work with. No really scary parts just yet of how they might have to fight this off. Should have a semi-okay rotation in, depending on how they want to play it.
Yeah, they've got plenty of room to work with. I mean, the thing for them is going to be that I want to say they noticed that nobody went South George, but I'm not sure they did, because the plane was up in that corner. So they jumped out real early to get down early as well. And they probably didn't notice on the other side of things whether the team were there or not. Also, I'm going to admit that I'm a bit surprised with Besiktas' jump here. I mean, it was a plane that allowed for them to go towards South George. They weren't going to be contested necessarily in going there. And yeah, now they're kind of all in the middle of things, just 3 players alive.
Yeah, it wasn't really a kind of style we expect to see from Besiktas there. And obviously, it's cost them a player early on. Now they've got to kind of bounce back into this. And it is, again, because of the crazy circles we have had, the things that cause them not to have some of the better games here.
And now the thing for them is that we talk about there are plenty of games to go. If you want to change up things, if you want to try out things, there's room for it. I mean, you can have one of those games where it's just like, we tried this, didn't work. I mean, any other game could have been that 16th place game. Here, at least, they're trying out something else. What the reason behind it is, we might not know, and whether it was just the plain path or whether it was them saying, like, just feeling itchy about doing what they normally would do, we don't know. But they are getting the rotation going now, going west around Pachinki, right next to K23.
Now, will K23 try and fight this off? as they go in for their rotation and understand exactly where they want to sit themselves and how they want to cover it from the start. As more teams begin to make their rotation in, and they will be at least one of the earlier teams getting in within the center circle.
That is...
Wow, what a spin.
If that was on a skateboard, it would probably have some really badass name, but...
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater in PUBG in a car, Bjorn style.
Bjorn coming up with new tricks. That is that was pretty cool. And he landed it pretty well as well. I mean, now you guys are not looking at the map the same way we are, of course, unless you got the map stream open, which we recommend you to do. But Avangar being up north here, I want to see them go all the way east. I'm not sure if they will. They could just be swinging it over the Cube Bridge, but I actually want to see them go one step further west and take it in all the way from the western side, because they know how many teams land east. There was an Eastern Axis plane as well, and with the 2 previous games having been issued for them, they didn't get a good placement in the first, they didn't get a good placement in the second either. They need to change it up, take more of a Zoekt Een Naam approach to it, actually more of an Avangar approach to it than what they've been doing before. They could have had... I mean, it's just when you're in these open fields, I know you like to play edge, you know you want to sit out there, but it just gets so damn clustered if you don't keep your wits about you. Insidegames as well, making their way on forward, trying to catch the vehicle that somehow was not put in park.
Come here, it's mine. There we go.
There you go. It's just one of those things. PUBG, remember to pull the handbrakes. And if you have time to pull them like 6 times, then do that. Yeah. And even then, sometimes they roll away from you.
Check it again.
Gotta take it to the mechanic and make sure that handbrake's working.
They are some pretty old cars in all fairness, right?
It is. And some old
You can allow it to have a broken handbrake on every now and again.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. Oh, that's like the RNG thing. Every 3rd time you go into a car, it just won't start. God damn it!
Oh, I got the dud again.
Yeah, you'll get the mechanic's tools out and try to jumpstart. Can you bring over your vehicle? I need some electricity to jumpstart mine. Yeah, that could be.
Someone gets third party while doing it. Okay, this wasn't working, boys. What are we doing?
Yeah, that would be a new vehicle simulator game that nobody would want to play.
We've taken PUBG IRL.
Yeah. Let's not hit there. Let's not hit there at all. LXG, they're coming in. Asperin and Avangar, they are going in this direction too, but we have seen fights happen in this exact place before. LXG has actually been the ones to engage on them a couple of times. We need a home now, trying to position themselves. They're playing it safe. They know teams like to get those free kills and rotations, and they're saying we ain't gonna give it to them that easy. They have lost players in this specific area before against LXG, so I like that they're taking a different approach to it now.
Wildcats will get the flush onto the first Gamerlegion player there. It'll be a good start for them. And again, we've seen some good starts early on, but they are always fighting. They're always scrapping around, and at least now they haven't had a knock towards them. Bjorn's catching a bit of a lucky break there. Some of the bullets flying past his head, quite literally.
Yup. The trace around just strafing his shoulder. Fortunately, that a whole lot more came off of it. Now, Avangar, they were a little late on this rotation, as they always would, or normally would be, but now they're kind of driving down towards we need a home. LXG have made their way safely across, but they could have a fight on their hand if they don't really play this one carefully. And they actually did go far west. I like it.
Now, Seekorg abandoned their cars, went over there, want to go and take the fight where the big cluster is up by Georgia Pole. You've got 3 teams in We Need a Home, Avangar and LXG, all within that area. So Seekorg will play this smart. They'll group up again. They'll smash. Going in, blowing up the car, looking to do more damage onto Avangar. Maxwell under pressure as well. So many shots. What's he going to do? Somehow he's staying alive. More and more damage being done. The car's on fire and Maxazor goes boom. Avangar losing 2 players on a harsh rotation, and that is exactly why Seekorg rotated the way they did. Now the circle's gone further south. It is still including Military Island. Riddle are coming all the way around, and actually Northern Lights, they can still defend this off. They see and hear what's going on. Riddle could be under a real lot of pressure, and Insidegames aren't far away from it either.
That's the thing. If Riddle get caught out on the bridge here, which it seems like they will, because once Henny gets shot at, I believe that Simpson and Clip would stop their engines and go the other direction, and they're going to get caught from behind if they don't hardly commit to this one. Henny somehow makes it through, but there's still 10 billion teams for them to drive into, because Zoekt Een Naam just made their presence known down south as well. You can see T-Bone is down here. Page and the guys are pulling up here too, and believe me, this area is only get more and more crowded. Somehow, some magnet circle guy wants these circles to go down here, and right now Riddle are heading the bitter end of it.
You want to try and keep your wits about you when it comes to this, because that hard shift of the circle, some teams were bound to be set up ready for this push to come across. And Insidegames, they've seen and heard what's going on, and they've said, yeah, we won't bother with that bridge just yet. We'll hang it out. As Snoopy's gone down, and Avangar, there's only one player left alive for him now.
Inoctive is going to take it super slowly and play it ever so carefully and try and see if he can get anything going. He's far out in the blue. We can't even see him on the map right now. And as much as I wanted them to go west, other teams had the same idea. And I guess that just goes to show how good of an idea it really was.
Well done, Toe. You can go coach Avangar next as well. Your knowledge never fails to amaze me.
No.
Avangar, the blue rotators, the cars that have sadly gone boom for them this time around, but we need a home. They were well aware that that was going to be the case. And this is where it is, right? You watch a few VODs, you have a look at what these teams are doing, you check out some of the rotations, and you can start to say, oh, Avangar most likely do this on this kind of play.
And I like the play from We Need a Home because they haven't been the ones to go over on this side that often. And when they have, they've been fighting LXG. Now we see them once again side by side here on the rotations on in. But it was a really smart play from them. They were parked on the northern side. Had they stayed there, Avangar would have seen them, but they were probably anticipating LXG to come around the corner. T-Bone down, will most likely get back on up. Nobody in the nearby vicinity. But no, I mean, they played it smart, moving the vehicles over on the other side, so Avangar wouldn't see them, waited till they knew they were close, and boom, they ignited the trap.
And the problem for Zen here, not a lot of cover where they are. Multiple teams around him. Hanny's got all the way through, but he's on his own away from the rest of his team.
Yeah, that forest area is the third-party paradise. Because not only can you get shot at by the teams that are next to you, but also there are so many open angles from the hillside on the other side, down towards the compound, over on the eastern side too. People can spot you out. Grishka and Force are sitting on the hillside with a very good vision over towards Zoekt Een Naam. So should they get forced into a fight by some, other will look in their direction too. Mikhailovic spotted out, but We Need a Home, and they just cannot get rid of one another.
They've been fragging out over and over again, 2 games in a row, but LXG spotted out Polideric, and he's going to struggle to find himself enough cover here. Still standing strong and alive for now, but for how much longer? They are fighting this within the blue as well.
Yeah, there's only circle 2, so it's not going to be the biggest threat for anyone. No, okay, probably not going to be military, but holy cow, that circle is sound.
Oh, God.
Oh, there's so much water in this circle. If you're inside games here, you're just going to stay. Honestly, you're just going to stay. There's no reason in crossing. You will have to cross, but there's not going to be anyone anticipating that, I would assume at least. Now we see Seekorg and Power squaring off against one another. Inoctive is just trying to crash somewhere, but there's nowhere to be crashed here. Everything in this next circle is taken already. You can take Ferry Pier, sure, but how, oh how are you going to get there?
And Powerful had Georgia Pole all to themselves. No one came there this time around, but they've still ended up meeting Seekorg, the same team they normally share the spot with. Norkus got to be careful, had a nade out in his hand, but he starts to run away as he sees what's going on. He understands how Seekorg wanting to play this.
Gotta be oh so careful. Ultra gets himself a knock on Inoctive solo player remaining. He just tries to bring the flip game to Bjorn and say you're not the only one with that skill set. He can do it as well, but his vehicle is probably not enjoying this, and believe me, that's gonna go bada bing bada boom in just about a second.
It's an absolute slaughter on the kill feed. Avangar get eliminated in 16th place. That's a 16th, a 13th, and a 13th again for Avangar today so far. Not what they would have wanted at all. And yes, you're up there with lots of points, but it's just scary when this happens over and over again. But what's also scary is if you're a Futbolist, where you come into this, you try and find a bit of tree cover, but there's Seekorg players everywhere.
Sunsi played that one so smart. They used the vehicle to bait out one player, and they got the ankle on him. Really wise playing from Balas. Whether it was intentional or not, I'm not sure, but it really worked out to perfection. Extremely good jump by them. Does allow for Power to make the rotation on out though, but as we can see, multiple fights are starting to escalate, and somehow there's still 48 players alive, but believe me, wherever the next circle goes, that number will shrink real damn quickly. We already lost a lot of players, and we're just 14 minutes into game number 3.
Seekorg still within this blue as well. So yes, it's phase 3. It's not the end of the world, but it is going to be tough if any teams are just waiting for them. Like exactly what's happening here for Powerful as they try to get in. More shots towards them, both Gamerlegion and Zen on a killing spree. And Norkus is the only one left alive, 27 health. He's got himself in the house, but for how long before he's found?
And some small things happening here that people might not notice. The fact that the teammate was throwing smokes as they were driving into the compound so that it blossoms by the time they get there. Really wise playing. Bjorn gets the kill. Not a whole lot more to it, but extremely smart coordinated by Power. Unfortunately, though, not working out the way that they wanted it to.
Seekorg heavily under pressure as they've tried to come in. Istanbul Wildcats looking for him. Gamerlegion tapping away once again. Bjorn on the hunt, but Fex is the one doing all the damage. Seekorg in 14th. The fights they took earlier on just weren't beneficial for them. They were in the blue for so long, and coming back in, it was never going to work out. And it seems to be the same case for the Istanbul Wildcats, as Zen are just mowing them down with a little bit of help from the hamster.
This is just a repeat of the previous 2 games we've had. I mean, honestly, sure, we're not going that far out into the field now with the circle shrinking elsewhere, but holy guacamole, these circles are just brutal. Nothing short of it.
This is revenge for having such amazing circles and great games yesterday.
Yeah, we were talking about how centered and how nice they were to everyone, and all of a sudden 3 games in this godforsaken area of the map, and we're down to 38 players in 16 minutes.
The Banks and Toby curse. It's a real thing when it comes to PUBG contenders.
I guess so.
But I get some entertainment out of it.
Oh yeah, it's super enjoyable, but for the players, probably not so much.
Definitely not. There's K23. They're ready and waiting to see where the no-tag team players might be working their way up. And there's 4 K23 players just fully over towards the west, trying to hold on and make sure they're completely aware of any teams that may try and still sneak their way in.
They already have a spot that is really good to play from. They have the sort of position in the forest that they can utilize. As you can see, Greg and Moomin, they're proning it out right now. They don't want to go too aggressive. But this point, just right, they're trying to get some info on what's happening east of them. And at this point, you got to put your sort of compass up and say, what are the pressure points? We know that people came west. Sure, that's where we're looking right now. Would it make sense for anyone in the middle to push out towards us right now? No. So let's focus elsewhere. And Hickey can only focus on one thing, and that's the wheel inside his face of Hanny, bro. Holy cow.
He literally went straight in, straight line. Hanny didn't even have a chance to react, and Higgy, he gave him a pop the wheelie all the way. Dropped it in his face. That was impressive. I like it. Higgy, style points. I'm taking it.
Yeah, that was death by vehicle to the biggest extent that it could be. That was pretty insane, not gonna lie. Also well done. Sometimes people tend to miss the little gap in the door there with the bikes, and doink, they just kind of leave themselves outside, sometimes even exploding because the impact of the vehicle damage to the wall is so high that it tends to take out those vehicles there. But fortunately it didn't happen, and Force, well, I mean, they're not exactly in a good position off of it, but at least there's still 3 guys alive.
It's a scary thing to do when you're going at that speed to try and just nail it. But he did it this time around, but they are taking shots from Northern Lights at the moment, who have got a really nice split on the eastern side of the circle, but if it doesn't benefit them this time around, it's going to be hard for them all to get out together.
And that's what I'm kind of I was trying to sit and figure and try to decide who has the better spot right now. If we're being objective to where the next circle goes, like no matter where the next circle goes, who's in the better spot right now? And I believe K23 and Zoekt Een Naam actually are the 2 teams that have the positions to beat. Sure, the next circle can go to very far south, and then neither of them are going to be in it. But right now, they have plenty of room to roam, and they have a chance to scout forward. It's not one of those, I'm forced to sit where I am right now, I can't go anywhere. For example, all the shack teams, the compound teams, it's limited what info you can get, whereas both Zoekt Een Naam and K23, they can split out a bit thinner and try and get themselves some more info. But they see the 35 players alive tech, and they know we got to stay together.
Now, surprisingly, Gamerlegion and Zen haven't really gone head-to-head just yet. They're very close to each other. They've been taking on the same teams.
Yeah, Gamerlegion can't leave the compound. They know that Zoekt Een Naam is sitting up there, so they're just waiting, and hopefully getting some circles towards them. But they know that we'll have to leave eventually. Then they will need to take the fight, and they do. Circle goes south. It's not guaranteed to go across that road yet, but believe me, whether the southern teams have to go north or the northern teams have to go south, that could be the death point for a lot of players.
K23 have completely surrounded No Tag's final 2 players. O'Connell goes down. Jutzik follows very quickly. Solid work, good teamwork. They bided their time in that western part. They had full control of it, and now they can work their way in with confidence. There's no other team there.
And now we didn't see exactly how it went down as far as shooting goes, but the fact that K23 gets the clean up on 2 players without losing one, that's been their thing. Even when they had the fights where they've been in the numbers advantage, they've been losing 1 player, maybe because of a small mistake happening or miscommunication on the team as to where the opponents were. But here, taking out 2 players quick, swiftly, not losing anyone, and they got time to rotate in now with the next circle. Really good job by them.
Solid stuff as Zen now know they're very close, but they're waiting for Gamerlegion to move. But the fight that's kicking off now is going to be between Besiktas and Riddle. And they're both teams with just 2 players up. As Lux runs in, he's going to try and bring his teammate up as quickly as possible. But Dino's got a good nade coming his way. Ooh, the door blows off, but the players stay alive. They manage in the corner just to hold on. As Zen, they are stealing the damage and doing it well onto Forze and Gamerlegion. This position has worked out marvelously for them. I thought it could be too far in the open at times, but it's headshots galore, it's kills coming up on the scoreboard, and it's all the other teams falling around them.
Zoekt Een Naam could be pushing further in and get a spot in the circle here, but they're not going to. And I was gonna say it's gonna come to punish them because I saw K23 pushing over the hilltop. They were completely tunnel visioning on the compound, respectively so. They know it's gonna be shifted out now, but there are 4 guys alive. You need to reserve 1 player to look the other direction because people will be coming from the south. You ain't the only guys in the forest.
Zolta's still alive, still able to do shots. And this is what Forze do best. If they think they've got 1 player left alive and they might go down, they're just going to frag out as much as possible. They're like, placement points, do we try prone it? Do we try play sneaky? Nah, that's not our style. We're just going for the kills. As Gamerlegion, they go out in 11th. It was a rough spot to rotate from. So many teams looking at them, and Zen had their names marked.
Insidegames, Navy sealed this one across the river or the ocean, whatever you want to call it, the strait between the military island and Erangel. And now somehow they got themselves into a good position. And I do not know why Northern Lights team didn't group up earlier, because right now they have 1 player caught with 4 guys from Insidegames.
Yeah, this is a rough spot. You're never getting out of there alive. It would take off some amazing heroics, or maybe a couple of well-placed nades, but his teammates aren't going to be the ones helping him out this time around.
The forest fight up here is going to be inevitable no matter where the next circle is going to go. On the south, though, plenty of room to work with, and it ain't exactly as open as we see it here. There are some trees, some boulders, some hillsides to play around. Circle, though, going down south. We had 3 teams in Ferry Pier early. They're still down there. We need a home. LXG and Futbolist all sitting tight with Besiktas and the last remaining Riddle player right next to them.
Zen are going to be saying, where the hell did you come from Insidegames? Vasquez found himself knocked down. Now they should be able to revive him regardless. Okay, bro, still chilling in the same place. He's got Insidegames all around him. He knows what's happening. And his Northern Lights teammates are trying to provide some cover fire for him over there, just to keep Insidegames busy while Zoltas holds on to the edge.
Yeah, see him right here. He's going to need a ton of help from his teammates, and that's going to be the main focus. Quizzy actually coming over towards him now. I like this decision-making. Deep did go down to low HP as he was trying to put down some suppressive fire, but Sampik and the guys now have to put up a fight against these 2. 2v4, it's going to be tricky, but they can apply the pressure, and right now they're outside the compound, so they're going to be the ones waiting. Page, though, taken down. That's elsewhere. Let's see what happens here.
Insidegames, they're struggling to know where to look, where to turn. I don't think they expected a second player, but okay, bro, still finds himself knocked. Zampik's looking for it. He's trying to understand where it's all going on. There's Futbolist and We Need a Home having this battle back and forth.
And Zoekt Een Naam under so much pressure. K23 is playing this one to perfection. T-Bone is the last living player on the team. We've seen him do crazy things by himself, but right now he's so far out in the open that it's going to be so hard for him to do anything. Trying to run down towards the shack, it's going to be difficult. Pixel taken down in full squad as well. Sampik spots one from above, and that is going to be Northern Lights team out.
Northern Lights tried to hold on, but they were just spent too long split apart there. Zen go down. Besiktas, they find them. They held on so strong. They had a lot of kills, let's be honest, but fighting in that open, K23 made the smart decision to try and challenge them. Futbolist the next to go, and this is where it starts to become difficult.
The fact that Insidegames decided to go military, never committed until they had to leave, and I said it, nobody's going to be anticipating the push from that side. They came in, no vehicles, they knew it was going to make too much of a disruption. They caught Northern Lights team off guard, and now they have a really, really good spot in the circle on the eastern side. 4 guys alive still, they've only had 1 fight, so Kevlar helmets still up there, probably got some utility to work with as well, whereas to all these other teams, they've been fighting from the very start to the end of the game.
Simsy though, just 2 players of Besiktas left. They've taken the challenge, they've been able to clear out a compound, and now they're on the firing line. K23 trying to work their way down, but everyone is looking at them, and this is more than difficult for Desalt to try and achieve here.
Yeah, he's just hiding down behind the shack. Fortunately, he's inside the next circle. Solo player remaining. There were 4 guys up. Didn't get the smokes they needed in order to get themselves a safe passage down to that shack. And for now, it's going to be Desalt just hiding back there, hoping for a miracle circle north, and it's not going to happen. It's going to go down south, and believe me, both We Need a Home and Besiktas in particular will be looking towards that shack until it's out in the blue.
We Need a Home, though, again. 7 kills. They've been fragging out these last 2 games. They've been delivering it.
10 kills last game, got themselves 7 this time around, with probably more to come. LXG, though, 2 players inside the building. Their building is just exactly inside the next circle, and we need a home have to make that move. They were shooting from this compound, so LXG know of their whereabouts, but they need to not only know where they are, but of course also manage to take them down. As you can see, damage is already being applied.
Rita getting that final loop before she's going to have to make the way out.
I just realized 25 minutes, 13 alive. I mean,
we've had some of the fastest, craziest games today.
No, it is not. Okay, never mind, actually. We did cut off quite a bit by the super settings. I was just thinking 35, 25. Yeah, never mind. But it is a fast game nonetheless. Fast games. And that's just, I mean, that's the position of the circle. It's where we are headed. It's the water. It's the open fields. It's just chaos. Desert goes down. Trying to make the run on off. Not going to happen. Australovac secures himself a point off of that one.
When we say these fast games, right, it's not just in terms of actual the time on the board, it's more just the amount of kills that have been happening so early on, because then we can still get a game that goes on for age where they slow it down when it gets to these kind of circles quite easily. But it seems it's going to be a non-stop firing line still, as Simsy taps away, finds Lipsim, and causes We Need a Home a bit of a problem now.
Make the best of what you got, and Simsy and Locks are doing that. They were the first team to lose a player in, I believe, Tamil, up in Ruins. They landed in a questionable area. We didn't really know the reason behind it, but somehow it has worked out for them anyway. 5 teams alive, and they're one of them. Impressive performance coming up from them, and they're still getting damage done towards these We Need a Home players who somehow want to get over to safety, and it just ain't gonna happen. Sneaky and Fuse take down Smash and Rita.
5th place and 7 kills, though. Respectable play coming out from We Need a Home once again, as LXG got a nice spot to shoot from, as have Simsy and Dino. But Dino's not going to be taken anytime soon. Insidegames, the only team with 4 players left alive. 1 on Riddle, 2 on Besiktas, 2 on LXG. Insidegames, they are just sending for it now.
They got room to work with as well. You can see right now on the map stream, if you're watching it, that they got the entire southeast side of the circle fully under control. They know the compound is in. They know they'll have to fight to leave it. And they also know where LXG are positioned. If they're really wise, and if they have the info that they need, they should be able to sort of pinpoint where everyone is at this point in the game.
Dino's just cowering away in the corner. Barrels out a nade. Does manage to get a knock onto Lux. He ran straight into it. Simsy's got to be careful now as well. Dino goes in for the flush, and he actually could come off really well here.
Could do. Dino 1v1. They ain't gonna be disrupted anytime soon either, because Insidegames have committed their focus down towards Fuse. And as I say that, though, Phoenix and Sampeak still up on the northern side. The 2-2 split is working. This could be the 2nd win for Insidegames. They got one to finish off yesterday's games, and they might just be able to pull one off here as well.
This will be huge for Insidegames. They chose the right decision. They went after LXG, and Dino has actually helped them out by getting rid of Lux from Besiktas to put it into a little 1v1 here, because they're going to have to run and finish each other off. And they're just barreling around each other.
And Dino 1v2 said, what an incredible performance coming out from one of the more overshadowed players, I guess you can say. In Riddle, it's been Clip with the headshot, it's been Simpson with the headshot, it's been Hannibro with the DMR, now Dino gets to get himself a little bit of a highlight reel there as well.
But this is where the split here and the position overall for Insidegames is so pivotal. Fuse on the edge, they know exactly where he is. He gets sprayed down. LXG grab a 3rd place. And now it is all on Dino. 1v4. As soon as he's spotted, he's going to be sprayed down. No problems at all. 8 kills, and Insidegames get a 2nd win overall. And what